Released in 2019, designed by Stan Kordowski, illustrated by Finn McAvinci, Yaroslav Radetzky, Yoma, Callie Fitzgerald, and Alana Lemmer-Danner. Published by Peacekeeper Games, RDOK is a worker placement programming area control game that plays solo out of the box. After learning its rules and bits, you can get a game played in about 45 minutes or so, depending on how well you know the AI's priorities. Sviatopolk the Accursed is attempting a full-scale rebellion against his father, Vladimir the Great. Take on the role of one of Vladimir's other children and try to stop this rebellion by using advisors, troops, and schemes. Won't you join me now as I solo play Rurik, Dawn of Kiev? Hello everybody, here we have set up Rurik, Dawn of Kiev for solo play. We're going to be playing as Maria and White versus the AI opponent, who's always the same, always leading the rebellion, the angry Sviatopolk. Okay, very intimidating, isn't he? Okay, so this is a 4-round, 1, 2, 3, 4, worker placement programming area control game. A lot of really fun things going on here. A very, very clever AI that I'll go through and explain what all that looks. It looks like a headache when you first look at it, but I promise once you start working at it, it makes a lot of sense. Okay? So, basic game is broken down into 3 phases. We have our strategy phase. Here we're going to be placing what we call our advisors on this board, and each advisor has a number on it ranging somewhere between 1 and 5. The advisors with the lower numbers will go first, but the advisors with the higher numbers are stronger and are more likely to be able to take these actions that give you more things, more benefits. And as we play that out, you'll see how that all works. I'm not going to get into a long, extensive explanation about that. You'll see as we play out how that system works. So after we've completed the strategy phase, where we all place our advisors, we then move on to the action phase, where we just take them off one by one, and I'll be doing things, and then the AI will be doing things based on where our workers were. After that, we do our claim phase, and that's where we check this board up here and see where we are in earning victory points. There's different areas that we're looking to work on, which is ruling, how many areas we rule, building, how many adjacent lands we've built a building to, and trade, how many goods we're taking from the board and putting on our boat, our economic system. So those are the 3 areas in which we'll try to check every single turn. We also on this one have the warfare track, where anytime we take the attack action and do an attack against an opponent, not against the rebels or the neutral troops, which are these red ones, we don't advance there. Only when we're attacking these black rebels or the intimidating mean guy will we move up on the warfare. Okay. So we're also in that claim phase going to earn income. We're going to choose deed card. Deed cards are up here. They are very interesting in the fact that you can discard things, get a benefit for doing that, and then victory points at the end. This is an area of the game that I don't think I do very great with. I feel like it's hard to meet these things and get rid of those goods or resources or meet those conditions, but I'm finding that you need to try to complete 2-3 of them to really up your victory points to the point of victory. Once we've gone through this claim phase of doing the refreshing, earning income, all that stuff, we then go back to the strategy phase and we will move it to the next round. So you're going to see that this is relatively fast-paced. And it is very rules laden. Although the actions in the system is very simple, obviously with area control and things of that nature, it is going to be a little bit rule heavy. Okay, so we're playing with two variants here in this game. We are playing with the alternate board variant, where we use these little tokens. Normally in this spot in Volin, there'd be fish available. Those are the ones that are printed on the board. But to add some variety and spice to life, we have these little counters with each counter has a number of players that you use it for, so we would use this for a 1+ game. We just cover that symbol up, and now we have a different setup where resources are at in the game. The other variant we're going to do is the Diderot variant. Normally, in multiplayer games, everyone has a chance to take a deed card and then refresh it once they've taken it. However, the AI, Sviatopolk, will never take a deed card, so I'm the only one taking it. So there's only in 4 rounds, I'm only going to have maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards that I see. So in this variant, each time after I pull one, I'm going to refresh all 3. Those are the 2 variants we're using here. We are going to be playing against the level 2 AI, so not very high. I think it goes all the way up to 4 or 5 perhaps, I'm not sure. But let's take a look at our player board real quick, just so you're familiarized with it. It is with 3 boards here. It is kind of a table hug, but we're just going to zoom in here and take a look at our player area. Okay, so this is the area that I'll be looking at that you might not see very much, depending on how much I want to change the camera angle. But this is my boat. Every time I fill up a whole row of resources, when I use the tax action, I'm going to take resources from the land, and I can either place them on my dock or in my boat. Benefit of placing them in the boat: once I have a full row completed, I then, during the upkeep phase, will gain a coin for each row that I have completed. I also have a beginning objective sort of thing. I think it's called a claim. I can't remember the name now, but I'm trying to be prosperous in this game. I want to finish first on the trade track. If I am able to do that, I score 2 points. And when this first, either first alone or tied for first. So I just have to stay even or better than Sviatopolk. But if I do, I get 2 extra points for that. Take a look at my character. Each character you play has variable powers, which I absolutely love. We'll see how much of an effect it has on this game. But Maria, once per round, when you muster troops, you may place them in a single region adjacent to Maria's region that you do not occupy. So that breaks the rule of mustering. Normally, you can only muster in areas that you have troops. Well, Maria, one time she musters that turn, she's going to be able to do it in an area around her that she doesn't actually control. We've got conversions here. Each round I'm able to make one of these conversions here. I can trade a wood or stone and another good to get 1 build point, and that will make more sense once you see me building. And this one here, a honey or fish and a good, let me muster. That's what the little helmet means right there. So I've got these 2 economic conversions that I can do on my board. Now that we've taken a look at my board real quick, let's go ahead and slip over and look at Sviatopolk's board. Okay, his board looks very similar to mine. He's got his dock here where he's going to put extra coins and goods. He's got the same thing here where once he fills up his boat in a single row of goods, he's going to earn coins. He also has this right here, which is really clever. This is the priority track. It's going to decide what he's doing. Each round during the claim phase, we're going to try to decide what is his priority. Am I in more regions and ruling more lands? Well, then he's going to attack and move. Is he behind in the buildings significantly? Well, then that means that his priority is going to be to build. In this game, at this level, he has this little X symbol here that is his starting one. Underneath here, mostly covered up, but you can see a few ones, he gets extra bonuses for his actions. In this one, whenever he musters, he's going to gain a coin. Here, whenever he taxes a land, he's actually going to get an extra tax point. So when he taxes for 2, it's actually for 3. When he taxes for 1, it's actually 2. These will slowly get revealed, and he will have even more bonuses. Like here, when he attacks, he takes 1 less card for casualties. Here, when he schemes, he gets 2 coins. So he's going to slowly get more powerful as the game goes on. He's got advisors just like me, a set of troops on the side, and then this is his main action board. So on his turn during the action phase, I'm going to slowly slide this thing up, and I'm going to look at which priority he is. And I'm not going to reveal it because I don't want to see what's coming up. But I will then check and use this number advisor at that location. So if this was the card I was revealing, I would take the number 2 advisor And because he's in the tax priority, I would put this one on the scheme action on that player board, on that action board. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. So we're slowly sliding this thing out. Once we've placed all of them, we then place this card on the top and then use this location order and building order to decide where he's going to move, where he's going to attack, where he's going to build, and what he's going to build. So lots of information on this. And as you slowly play it, it's going to make a lot more sense. Okay, so let's go over buildings and what their benefits are. There are 3 types of buildings, and in rules for buildings here, there can only be one of each type of building in a region, no matter who owns it. So if I built all 3 of my buildings in this location, that is allowed. Now I couldn't do it now because I don't have anybody in there to build them, but this would be an okay thing. This would also be an okay situation. There's one of each type. This is not okay. I can't have 2 types of the same. So that was a little confusing to me at first, but the way the designer, the publisher explained it to me was, as long as it's just one of each type, it doesn't matter who owns them. But you can't have more than one church. You can't have more than one fortress. So what do these buildings do? They're really essential to you, so let's take a look. When you build a church, you remove one opposing troop in that region, and you place one troop in there. So it converts one from either the neutral or the rebel into one of yours when you build there. Market when taxing a region. With your market, collect +1 good of the same type or 1 coin. So if you have a market in a region and you tax it, you can take the one that's off the board, and then you can't tax that region anymore. They're spent. However, a market will allow you to take another stone from the supply or a coin if you need it. The third building we have is the fortress, and that one just simply counts as an extra troop in the rule and makes the opponent draw an extra scheme card when they attack you. It means the likelihood of casualties goes up for them. Okay? Another really important rule here, knowing about ruling and taxing building. If you ruled an area when you build, it only costs 1 point to building. But if you don't rule it, it costs more. Same with taxing. If you want to tax an area you rule, it's only going to cost you 1 tax point. But if you don't rule it, it's going to cost you 2. Okay? So, what's rule? Don't rule. There's another phrase called occupy. So occupy just means you're in it. Rule means you have the majority. Don't rule means you don't have the majority. Ties, everyone in there would just occupy. Those are the 3 terms that you need to be familiar with as we move forward. I think that's everything. Stuff's obviously going to pop up as we go. One thing that you might see me actually forget in live time is his ability. When he attacks you, the rebellion reveals 1 less scheme card. That I might remember, but this is the one I usually forget at the end of the round. They muster 1 troop in their region. So he's going to be continually placing these rebels out on the board, and it's passive, and I'm going to have to try to remember that. I usually have a hard time with it. Okay, enough with the explaining. Let's get going. I want to be prosperous, so I need to lead on the trade track, which means I have to have the most goods on my boat. So with that in mind, I want to think about taxing a place. I want to think about ruling a place, taxing it cheaply, and then moving on. I'm not going to be super concerned about holding rule in multiple places. And I always think it's a really good idea to build. So I'm really thinking these are the 2 tracks that I'm going to really, really improve on. So in that vein, I've got to think about what do I want to do. Well, the very first thing I think I want to do is tax to get those goods, but he's going to be taxing. That's his priority right now, if we remember correctly from our initial placement, which means he has a high likelihood that his actions are going to tax. So if I place a low number up there, it's very likely that I'm going to slowly go down. So one solution to that is I play a high number and just wait to do it at the end. Another solution to that is I place these coins on it, and it's called a bribe, which if I place 3 coins with this 1, it now has the strength of a 4. And if I put that 4 there to tax, I'm more likely to get the higher value because he can only beat it with a 5 or a 4 that he puts coins on. I mean, he could put a coin on a 2 as well, but the likelihood of that happening is much less. I think maybe the first thing we want to do is maybe we'll say we want to muster. I think getting some extra troops out there so we rule and make things cheaper. So we're going to play this muster. So, oh, I forgot. I'm always going to be first player. I'm always starting player here in this game. Svilatopolk is a gentleman like that. So we're going to go ahead and see what our opponent's first order of business is going to be. Remember, we're going to be looking at this track here because he is taxing, and then we're going to look here to see what numbers we're going to place there. So our first one is, a 1 in a muster. Okay, and that's going to bring us to a rule right away. There are 2 times that he places a coin on a bribe on a worker. One when it tells him to, and one where he places the power at the same value of you. He's always going to place a coin to put over it. So he's actually going to place his 1 on that muster above mine. So instead of giving 3 muster points, I'm only going to get 2 muster points. Now, if I really wanted to muster and I say, you know what, I want to do that for sure, that's the thing I want to do, I cannot actually place another advisor there until I've placed it in 2 other places. I have to have 3 placed in 3 different locations before I can double dip and go back to it. So Svilatopolk doesn't run by those rules. He can put them wherever he is told to based on this chart. So there's a possibility that I won't get another chance to muster if he places there again. I've got 2 placements before I can go back there. So the mustering didn't really work out for me very well. I think the next thing I want to do is possibly scheme. I think getting some scheme cards allows you to take extra actions, have bonuses. So they might be giving you an extra build point. And at this point, if I don't rule something, I'm going to need 2 points to build, or it might give me an extra tax point. I need 2 points to tax. So I'm going to double down and say, you know what, I'm going to take this scheme, and maybe I won't be able to rule, but maybe I'll get some useful bits from it. So let's go and see where our opponent's going to place. Okay, so this asterisk refers to the 2 that I'll unlock here in round 3. So at this point, I skip it and move on to the next one. So his 2, he's going to match me again. He's going to go to the scheme. And again, he's going to spend a coin to outdo me there. Wow, we have simpatico. We are the same in our choices and decisions here, which is very interesting. And he's getting the better choice out of each one of them each time, but he is down to only 1 coin now, and I have a few more with both high numbers, and maybe next round I'll be able to be the one who gets the higher abilities and better ones. So I think I'm gonna double down and say, you know what, I really want to make sure that I can tax. That's my main priority. I've only got 4 rounds to get as many goods on my boat and lead it to get that prosperous, card. All right, so let's see where he's going to place his next one. And instead of asterisk, so we just keep on pulling. We'll unlock that one here in round 4. So his number 5 is going to go back on taxing. So again, exactly the same. He's going to spend his bribe coin to jump above me. And in every way that we can imagine, Svilatopolk is going to have a better round than me. Every single choice, he mimicked what I chose. So last one. Now that I've placed 3 out, I can go back, and I could place this 4, and I could muster more than him. I could go back, and I couldn't tax more unless I put coins on it, and I could scheme more. But I don't want to scheme. I don't really want to tax again, although, because if I go down here, if I put a tax here and improve it, I'm going to have to pay a coin to tax. I will be able to get 3 goods, which will be really nice, but it's going to cost me a coin to do it. And the question is, do I want to do that, or do I want to try to commit to building a building? All right, let's go ahead and just try to build. Because if I tax here, it's going to be the lowest one. I'd have to put coins, 2 coins in order to improve this, and I'm hurting myself in the end and losing a coin to gain a second good. I think I'm going to just try to double up and build. Let's see if this holds true and we mimic. Where is he going to place his last number 4? And it is on move, so he's going to move some troops. Okay, so we've completed our placement. So now we are going to go into that's our strategy phase. So now we're going to go into the action phase. Okay, so we're going to remove these coins because the coins no longer matter. They only mattered for bribing. and we're going to remove these coins, and so we can see our order. So in order, we're going to take our lowest numbers first, and I go first. So here I'm going to take this one. I'm going to muster in 2 places. I'm going to put I really wanted to take advantage of Maria's ability to place him in an adjacent region that I don't occupy, just to spread out. But I think I'm going to want to, because I guess the question is, where do I want to tax? If I'm going to be able to tax one good. I could get a wood there because I own it, and that's fine. I rule that region, which means I can tax it for 1. But these ones I don't rule, so in order to tax, I would have to have 2 points of it, which I don't have. So if I want to tax wood or stone, I'm going to have to put an extra troop there. But I really want to start taking advantage of her ability. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, although ruling in 3 region, do I want to rule this early? Here's the thing about ruling. For each one of these tokens that I get on there, I'm going to lose 1 coin in upkeep. Right now, if I don't make any claims and I stay low and keep them off the board, I'm going to get 3 coins plus the 1 I would get normally. Also, any tracks that I'm ahead of Svyatopolk, he's going to remove those coins to get bonus actions here and make him stronger. So there's a fine line between jumping up to earn those points and not making him too strong. And I think because of early on, I am going to try to not rule those areas. So I'm going to place 1 there, and I'm going to get into the honey game and place into the region I don't own because of her ability of allowing me to do that. So that was my first move. My first choice was to muster 2. So now he is going to muster 3, and if we look here, he's mustering, so he's going to actually get a coin from the supply. That's his extra bonus action for being just a really good AI player. So let's take a look here. When mustering, he is going to do A, B location, occupy but don't rule. So he's going to check all the locations that he occupies but doesn't rule. I'm going to tell you he rules all the areas he occupies. So now he's going to muster in places he doesn't rule. And we're going to check our location order cards to determine in which order we check where he's going to place his 3 units. Okay, so he doesn't occupy any area that he doesn't rule. He rules each area. So he's just going to further entrench his ability to hold on to these areas that he already rules in location order. So when we look at this card, we see the first location is Polotska, and he's not in that one. So he's not going to no, yes he is. He's in that one. So that's where he's going to place his first rebellion. The next one is going to be Volin, but he doesn't rule that one, so he's not going to go in there. Now he checks Chernakoff, which he does rule, so he's going to further his rule there. And the last one that we're going to get to is Kiev. That's the last one we're going to look at. Then he's going to get his 3rd one there. So he's successfully mustered his 3 points of muster. So let's go back and see what my next action is going to be. Okay, so my number 2 worker is here at the scheming. This means I'm going to draw 2. I'm going to keep 1. Okay, so let's take a look at these scheme cards. So here when we set up the scheme decks, we take it and split it into 2 decks. So there's 2 decks to draw from. Why is this important? Well, we're going to collect information with this action. I'm going to be able to put one of these back, and that's important to know for when I start doing attacking, or when Svyatopolk's going to start attacking. I'll know where the casualties sit and lay as long as I stay ahead of it. So let's take a look at these cards. So this card is going to say that I get the action. If I can pay a coin, I get an extra build point. Here, I am going to be able to take a deed, a coin, and this little bottom part tells me that if I drew this after an attack, there would be a casualty. The person drawing this would lose a troop from the board after an attack. So I think I'm going to take this one so I can get an extra deed card. Although, let's take this extra build one, which is going to cost me a coin, but I'll be able to, in a pinch, be able to use this build point in order to completely build something in a rule area that I don't rule, perhaps. So that means I'm going to put this card back on top of the deck I drew it from, knowing now that when I draw from here, it's going to casualty. So I'm going to try to not draw off of that one, For attacks, I'm going to try to have Slatopok draw off that one because I know he'll lose a worker or a soldier. Okay, so we're going to look at Slatopok's second action. Here it's scheming. He'll never draw a scheme card, and he's never going to draw a deed card. So he's not involved in the cards at all. So when he is scheming, he's actually going to go to his player board and take off a coin. So you look at the current priority, and he is going to remove a coin from the top of that priority column. So now whenever he attacks, he's going to draw one less scheme card to see if he has casualties. If this whole row was gone, he would then choose from the leftmost that has any left. Okay, so now we're down with 2 workers left. I'm going to now do my build action. I'm going to have 2 build points. I am going to build within this wood a market. That's 1 build point because I rule it. I have 3 troops there. I am then also going to build by spending a coin. So that was 1 of my hammers. I have 1 more hammer. I don't rule any other one. So if I want to only spend 1 hammer, I'd have to build it in the same location. And I could build now either a church to convert that troop into one of my troops, make up for that muster point I lost. I could build a fortress to give me a +1 if I think I might get attacked in there, or I can't build another market there, so that's done. The other option is I could use this card that I just got by spending a coin to have 2 hammers and build in one of these 3 locations. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend a coin along with this one to get another build action. And that's going to give me 2 hammers, which now I'm going to be able to build in an area that I occupy but don't rule. And I think I want to do a market as well in there. No, hold on. Let's take a look here. If we look at this deed card, I have to build all 3 in one region. If I do that, I get 2 points and I get the tax. So let us actually change that to building this church in that location, which then I'm going to be able to convert this neutral troop into a troop of my own. So I'm making up for that muster point. I'm working towards that deed card. That's the card that I'll draw when it comes that time. Okay, so now we are going to go on to moving for Sviatopolk. He's going to have 3 points of movement. So movement for him, we have to check his priority. We know his priority right now is taxing. So he's going to move to a target region regardless of distance. He's always going to leave 1 troop there. He'll never cede ruling to you. So if you're tied or him moving it makes you rule, he's not going to do it from that region. He's going to move from the closest region with troops, and he's always going to move Sviatopolk first. He's in the taxing priority, so he's going to go to places he doesn't rule. Okay? So he's got 3 movement points. He's going to take from areas he rules and move them to places he doesn't rule. So we're going to check location order, and our first location is Polsk, which he does rule, which means he won't go there. The next is Volyn. He doesn't rule there, so he's going to take 1 action point and move Sviatopolk into that one. The next one is Chernakoff. He definitely rules that one, so he won't move any there. He is then going to check Smolensk. And that's this one up here where I just built a lot. So he's going to move a troop there. There's a tie for the closest one. So I'm going to break that tie and I'm going to say he's going to go from this one because I'm present in that one. And I think thematically if there was a presence of an enemy, he wouldn't remove troops from there if he could avoid it. So that was that one. Next is Kiev. He rules that one. Next is this one, the one I'm not going to try to read. He doesn't rule it, so again, he's going to use his 3rd point and move there. Now he's occupying more regions, which could affect his priorities. Now we're on to our last actions. I've got that action of 5, which is going to allow me to tax. I am going to tax this only place I can get a benefit from it. I'm going to get this wood, and because of my market, I'm actually going to take a 2nd wood there because I want to get as many goods on my boat as possible. So let's take a look at my boat now. So when gaining goods, you have the option of putting them either on your boat or in your dock. If I was going to put them in my dock, I'm saying, I'm probably going to use it to use one of these conversions. But right now, I want to get goods on boats so that I can get coins and work towards being prosperous and getting those 2 extra victory points. So I tax from that region. Another strategy here is taxing in regions that you think that the opponent's going to tax in. So maybe if I had 2 points, I could have taxed there thinking he might get that honey, removing it. Because once a good is removed from a location, you can't tax it for anything anymore. They're spent. But I was not able to do that this turn because I didn't have enough tax points. So Svatopluk's going to tax now. If we look here, he is going to tax first A, rule unfilled boat columns, which is going to be all of them in location order. So he's going to have 2 points, but actually, because of his passive ability of a +1, he's actually going to tax for 3 goods. So he's going to get 3 goods on his boat right away in this first turn. So every row of his boat is unfilled. So let's check our order. Polsk, he does own that one. He's going to take that one first. That's his first point. The next one is Volin, which he now occupies but doesn't rule. So it's going to take his other 2 points to take that one. So he gains a stone and he gains a fur. And now you see here, this column is full, which means he's going to get an extra coin during the upkeep phase. And that is all our actions. Before we move on, I'm going to remember at the end of this round, so let's go ahead and move on to the claim phase. Here we're going to advance our markers. This first one we're going to look in how many regions we rule. So if we look first at Svatopluk, here he occupies but doesn't rule. Here he occupies but doesn't rule. But he rules in 1, 2, 3, meaning he has more than everybody else. So he's going to move his chart up to 3 regions. He's going to score 2 victory points at it. Now we're going to check my rule. How many regions do I rule? I rule 1 region. Here I occupy, but don't rule. I only rule 1. The starter's at 2, so this crown is actually going to stay off the track, meaning I'm going to gain 1 extra coin in income so far. Building, AI Svatopluk did not build at all, so he won't improve. And I only built in 1 region, working towards that capital city card. So we're both going to stay below the off the chart. And then goods on boats, I had 2 and he had 2. So again, we're both going to stay down there. So we've checked our claims on the claim tracks. Now we earn income. We're going to gain 1 coin for each. I'm going to gain 1 coin for each item that is not, or each marker that's not on it. So I'm going to get 3. If at this point I had any that were above him, he would start removing coins from his bonus actions and moving them into his dock. But because I'm not ahead in any of them, he's not going to do that. So now we're going to choose our deed cards. I'm taking that capital city one that I talked about, which I'm building towards having all those in 1 region. I got to just build the fortress, and then I'm going to get 2 points and be able to tax for 1 whenever I'd like. So, Diderot Variant, I'm going to discard these other 2, and we're going to draw 3 new ones out. Let's take a look at those now. So, I could be the Honorable Prince, discard a scheme card and 3 coins, and muster twice to get a point. If I build churches in 3 adjacent regions, I'm going to get 3 coins and a point. And if I remove 1 troop, one of my troops from 3 different regions, I'm going to be able to move my 2 troops anywhere I want. Get a point. So at this point, if I had used any of my conversion tokens, I'd flip them. I didn't. Now I'm going to replenish goods. There was a fur back in Polsk, a wood back in my town, and what was the other one? A rock in Volin. And now I'm going to advance the round marker, and we're going to be starting round 2 here in just a second. Now it's the end of the round, so Svatopluk will now muster his 1 troop in his place. Now he rules that region. So now, with just checking out, if we stop, he'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 regions, which means he'd move up one more on the track. And an interesting thing about this track, once you hit a spot, you don't go back down it. So say he rules 4, and then I take 2 of those regions, he won't go back down to 2 regions. He's now set that standard. Same thing here. Once I get the 5 goods on my boat, if I spend some goods to complete a deed card perhaps, or make a conversion, I wouldn't drop down. That's the end of that round, and we're going to begin round 2 now. Okay, before we begin with our second round, I had paid this coin and this card to have built, I was going to build in this region that I didn't own, but I decided to double build in the region I did own, so I didn't need this second point, so I'm going to take that out of the discard and take this coin back and add it to my collection because I didn't end up needing that second build point. Okay, so we're going to begin with our next round. I'm still trying to be prosperous here, and I've only got 2 on the boat, so I need to get more than that because at this point, Sviatopolk's priority is still in the taxing, and he is likely to gain more goods on his boat. So I have to always keep that in the back of my mind. So thinking about that, I think I want to tax here so I can take advantage of that market. I will fill up a row there, and then I'll be able to get a second good that I can use towards getting additional build actions, or I could get a coin if I want to start bribing. So I think taxing is never, I don't think the order of taxing matters that much, except for if I leave that location, but I don't think I'm going to leave it completely. So I think I want to make sure that I can tax. So I'm going to play this 5 with 1 coin on this tax as a 6. Just to make sure that I get those 2 taxes, because I want to have the most goods on my boat. So now that I've placed one for me, let's go ahead and see where Sviatopolk will place. So he's still in this row of actions, and he's going to place his 4 on the build action. Okay, next I think I'm going to continue to try to get some scheming. I don't think it's the first thing I want to do, possibly though. So let's go ahead and put this 1 here, and I'm going to put a coin on there. No, I think I'll be okay. I'm going to leave it off, because even if I go down here, I'm still going to be able to draw 1 and keep, draw 2, keep 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put my 1 level there. So let's go ahead and see what Sviatopolk will do next. He's going to put his 5 on the taxing. I'm at 5, 6, so he's going to go right below me. There's no extra coin on here, so I know that he's just going to place underneath me because it's not the same. And even though the value of my advisor is the same as him, it's technically a 6, so because it's not a tie, he's not going to put that coin on there. Okay, we've done his second worker, so now it's my turn. I think at this point I want to possibly muster move and attack might be the next 2 things. So let's put this 2 here, and he's got a 2 and a 1. So I'm going to make sure that I put this coin on there. Actually, I'm going to put 2 coins on there. No, I'll just put the 1 on there, and hope that 3 is enough and he doesn't get a 2 plus a coin. So let's see what his third placement is going to be. We're going to skip that one because that's our asterisk. We haven't gotten that one just yet. He's going to place his 1 in the move. So I'm going to stay above him there. And then the next thing I want to consider, I think I actually want to, I was thinking about attacking, but I think my next thing is going to be to build. And I'm going to use another coin to outbid him on this build action, because I do want to get this done, this capital city done. And I think I'm going to try to take the payments and get the churches, this card, to get 3 coins coming up and another victory point. So let's see where Sviatopolk's going to put his last card. Again, this is that asterisk. He'll have that next round, so we're going to skip it. And it's going to be the scheme card. He's going to unlock another one, and he's going to actually take the lead on that one. And that's okay though, because although I draw 1 last card, I still get 1. Okay, so that's all of our advisors we've placed, so we're going to go ahead and remove those coins and get into the action phase. Okay, we're going to start with my first thing, which is going to actually be to scheme. So I'm going to draw 2 cards, keep 1. Now I know that this has a casualty on it, so I'm going to actually draw from this one just so I can gain some more information about what's going on with both decks, excuse me. So I'm going to go and draw those two. And both of them don't have a casualty. So now the question is, what do I want to do? Well, I'm already moving 3 to this turn, so I'm going to take this muster card, and I'm going to put this one back on top, knowing that when and if I attack, this is the pile I want to draw from. And when and if Sviatopolk attacks, I want him to draw off this deck because I know there's a casualty waiting for him there. Okay, so that ended my first action with my number 1 advisor. So now we're going to do Sviatopolk's action, which is going to be to move. He's going to be able to move 2 things. So again, we're going to look at this action guide, and he's moving, and his priority is tax. So he's going to move to regions he doesn't rule. So move a target region regardless of the distance, leaving 1 troop member. He's never going to cede it. And he's going to move from the closest region location order is decided when it's a tie. So he's going to be moving into regions he doesn't rule. There's going to be multiples of those. He's moving 2 plus, nope, nothing plus tier just yet. He doesn't gain a benefit there. So just moving 2. The first place he's going to check is here. He doesn't rule it, so he is going to move. He is going to move. He owns here, here. He won't move from there. He can move from there, and he can move from there. So closest region would be this one or this one to move into it. This one has the most, so he's going to move here. So now he rules that region there. That was his first point of movement. The next one he's going to try to go to is Chernakoff, but he owns that one. So now we look at Smolensk, and he doesn't rule that one. So he's going to move there. And he can move from this one or this one. If he moved here, he would cede rule. Here, he'd cede rule. Here, he'd cede rule. So he's going to move from one of these two. The closest one is this one. So he's going to move him into that region. That region's getting a little busy there. I still hold the rule 4-2, but I was planning to move people out of there. But again, I'm not sure I want to worry about rule. I want to do building and trade on this one. So I think it's okay. So we've each done our first action. So I'm going to move on to my second one, which is going to be a move of 3. I want to start building out to these other regions here so that I can start building at a cheaper rate. So I'm going to move 1, 2, and I think I really wish I had one more. Oh, I can get one more. So I'm going to use my muster card to muster one more unit, and I'm going to muster him here, so then I can move. I'm going to muster. Yeah, I'm going to muster it there. And I think I'm going to forego one of my movement points, just so I want to be able to build. Here with this action, I'm going to have 2 build points, and if I spend a coin, I'm going to have 3 build points, which means I could technically build 3 buildings, 1, 2, 3, in those regions. 1 in here to finish off and get oh, that's true. I'm going to build a fortress in there, so I could move out of that one as well. So after mustering that, I'm going to also then, I guess it really didn't matter. I didn't need to do it that way. I could have just moved. But we'll move him there as well, because we're going to build a fortress, and then we're going to work towards owning that next one and getting a good build that way, so we can get some more adjacent builds, and we can start taxing for that honey and filling up another row of my boat. So that completes my second action. We're going to move on to Sviatopolk's second, which is going to be scheming. Again, he's not going to take any cards, but let's take a look at his player board to see what his new ability that he unlocks is. So current priority tells us that we're going to remove a coin from here, which he gains. So now whenever he schemes, he's going to actually not only get the coin from the column he's removing, but he's going to get 2 extra coins. Okay, we're on to our number 4 action, and I'm going to build for 2. Remember, building in regions I own only costs 1, so I'm going to build here. I've got all 3 in 1. and that means I'm going to be able to tax, and I'm going to gain 2 points. So I'm going to put this face down there. It doesn't really matter. I guess more in the multiplier that matters, but just to save table space, I'm going to be able to, I've got one more build. So let's finish that building action before we take that, till we take that tax action. And I'm going to go ahead and place a church here, and that's going to let me convert this to one of mine. Then I'm going to, and I'm seeing now that my movement was a real big waste, because although I needed it to be able to build these cheaper, I'm going to have a lot of troops way up north that I'm going to have to move. Maybe I need to consider which of these I really want to take, if it's the 3 coins or if it's this one, where I can remove a troop from 3 different regions and I get to move 2, because I'm really stuck up there. I've got a lot of my my troops are up there. But regardless, I've spent my 3 build points, 1 for the fortress, 2, 3. Now I'm going to do my taxing. I am going to be able to tax 2 other places this turn. So let's see. Looks like if I could tax there, it would take me 2. So maybe I tax here with my 1 free one. I've got the market, so I'm going to get to take this wood and another good, or a coin. I'll take the good of the same type so that I can maybe be able to build or muster a little bit better, because I'm not too sure if I need to bribe. That's a tough decision. I think yeah, we'll stick with the wood. So those are my 3 builds. That was my 1 tax, and that's the end of my turn. No, hold on. I need to pay that coin. The 3 came from this card, so I'm going to pay that coin. That would have been the 3rd building I did. This is 1 point, 2 points, which I had. Got the tax for having 3 in here, which I taxed for this place with the market. Got the 2 woods. Then I'm playing this card to build my 3rd one up there. Okay? And this goes in the discard pile finally. Now, if we're seeing here, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 locations that I have adjacent buildings in. So I'm going to move up to this part on the claim track when we get there. But not there yet. Let's first do Thratapok's action, which is going to be a 1 build. Let's take a look at his build actions. So he's going to build where he rules, and there's no structures in location order. So let's check the first one. He does rule there. And in this priority, it tells us where he's going to build a market. So now whenever he taxes from the market, he's going to be able, he won't get coins, he's going to get 2 goods of that type. Now we're going to tax. I have 2 tax points. I've already taxed for my region with the market. So my options here are I could tax up here for these 2 that I rule for 1 point each, or I could tax down here and take that honey. It's not as effective because I'm getting 1 less good, but I do make sure that he wouldn't take that one with his 1. But looking at his priority, he's going to take from here first, as that's the top one in his priority. I'm going to guess. Let's take a look. Taxing in location order. Rule unfilled boat column. So yeah, he doesn't have a fish filled, so he will take from this one. So knowing that, I'm going to spend my points to get as many goods as I can. I'm going to get 1 wood, which is going to be a 2nd wood that I have in my slot, and I'm going to add this stone to my boat. Let's go and take a look at my boat real quick, just so you can see it updated after all that taxing. So here you can see I've got a full row, so I'm going to get 1 coin during upkeep. I still need another stone, and I've got 2 wood, so I could pull off this this trade if I wanted to, this conversion for another build point. But 1 point is not going to do me just enough yet. I don't want to. I already sacrificed a lot with my buildings, so the amount of adjacent regions I'm going to be able to do are going to be a little bit less because I built so many in Smolensk. So that 1 point's not going to do me any good either because I don't rule anywhere else to be able to build for just one. So we'll hold off on that for now. Okay, last action here is the tax for him. He's going to have 1 point of tax, but because of his ability, he's going to actually have 2 points of taxing, which I didn't take into account when I looked at his priority and where he would be taking from. So that being said, he's actually going to have 2 points of taxing. He's going to go in order where he rules though first. So I don't think he's going to take that one regardless. So in order that he rules, this is one that he rules. He does have a market, so he's going to take this fish and another fish from the supply, add them to his boat. That was his first point. His second point, the next place that we would look is Chernakoff. He doesn't rule it. He occupies it. It's even. So then we check Smolensk. Nope, he doesn't rule that one either. Then we check Polsk. He does rule that one, so he's going to take this. Oh, it is full on his chart, though. So the next one would be Volin. He owns that one, and he doesn't have that one full. So he is going to take this stone, and that's actually going to fill up his stone column. So that completes our action phase. So now we're going to move back to our claim phase, where the first thing we're going to do is check our markers. So ruling regions. I rule 1, because I've got 1, 2, 3 to his 2, 2, 3 regions. So I'm going to jump up here. Sviatopolk owns 1, 2, or rules 1, because he's got 2 points to 1, 2, 3, 4 regions. So he's going to jump up again, gain another point. Building in adjacent regions, he still only has 1 build. I've built in 1, 2, 3 adjacent regions, so I'm going to jump up above him, which is going to actually cause him to reveal another additional action. And then trade goods on the boats, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, so I'm going to jump to here, and he's got 5, so he's going to be ahead of me there. So not being very prosperous as of now, I'm going to really have to work on taxing in these last 2 rounds to make sure I can catch up to him, because he's just going to get better. Although now that I have more adjacent regions, his priority is of buildings, his priority is more likely to change. Okay, so that was our claim phase. And we're going to do that, actually the step before advancing the claim tracks is the claim phase, where we assign a priority based on the track where I am greater than the AI. Occupied regions, I occupy 1, 2, 3, 4. He occupies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's not going to change it to this priority. Structures in adjacent regions, yep, I know I have more. So his priority is going to change now to be more of a building priority. Income phase for Sviatopolk, he's going to gain 1 coin in base, and he's going to gain 1 coin for each full row. He's got 1, 2 full rows, so that's going to give him a total of 3 coins added to his dock for bribing purposes, or victory points at the end. So for my income, I would get 1 for each one that's not on the board, but they're all there, and then 1 for each row that's full. I have 1 row that's full of wood, so that's going to give me 1 coin to add onto mine. So now that I'm starting to get things up here, the key is to get more resources if I want that coin to bribe and adjust my value of my advisors. Okay, so now we're going to choose deed cards, and I'm really sure that I'm going to take this tithe payments, because I already can fulfill it with 3 churches in adjacent regions. The other options I can do are the honorable prince, where I would discard a scheme card and 3 coins to muster twice, or remove one patrol, one warrior, I don't know, army man, you know what I'm saying, from different regions, and then I'd be able to move 2. So if I removed 3, it'd be 1, 2. So if I remove 3, it'd be 1, 2, maybe 3, and that would leave me with 2 each up there. I can move him down, but it'd make it really easy for him to own those and rule those up there, and I want to try to keep his points down somehow. So I think we're going to take this one. which is going to give us 3 coins and a victory point because we've already conditioned it. And using our Diderot, we're going to draw out 3 new ones for this upcoming 3rd round. So if I have, let's take a look at our new one. If we have our troops in 8 regions, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'd have to put them in these 4. So a lot of moving. I'd get to muster twice and get 2 points. 2 points is very intriguing. New beginning, if I get rid of 3 buildings, I'd get 2. I'd have to look and see. Discarding means they're gone from the game and not that I can rebuild them, I guess. And market day, markets in 3 different regions with goods, which gives me 2 points and a scheme. So I like both of these. I don't know which one's more reasonable. Maybe this one, because it goes along with my prosperous, trying to get those markets out there. So maybe this turn, my focus is on moving and building and taxing. Move, build, tax. Those are the 3 that I might consider. Although I've got a lot to move. I've got a very long way to move to get it done. All right, we've done our deeds. We don't have any conversions to refresh. So now we're going to replenish the goods on the board from the taxing that we've done. Okay, we've replenished our goods, which means we're going to advance the round marker. We're now into round 3. We're each going to gain 1 more advisor that is at the 2 level. And we are going to go right into our scheme phase. So I think the first things I've got to do is I've got to move. I want to make sure that I can get a lot of movement here. So I'm going to spend 2 of my 3 coins on that to make it a 3. Because the moving is going to be a really important thing for me right now. Because I've got to get out from the north. So let's go ahead and reveal what Svatopolk is. Remember, we have a new priority here. He's now in this build priority. So his first one's actually going to be a 1 to move. Okay. So we are going to be able to keep that 3 movement, which is nice. Next one. I think I really want to move again, but I don't think that's a realistic thing. So let's say we're going to tax next. And we're going to put our other coin on taxing. Because we're going to hope to tax with some stone and maybe that fur, and we'll get 2 coins coming back from us. We're taxing stone, fur. Okay. Now we'll see where his second placement will be. This is the asterisk second. He got it. It's going to be in the muster phase. And it's going to go right there. And then I am going to... I want to tax. What do I want to do after that? I think I want to build. I'm going to want to build somewhere. Is it the 5 or the 4 that I place now, though? I don't have any coins to improve it, and he still has his 4 and 5 as well. Let's put our 5 down, because I think we need to make sure we build. I think that's really important. Okay, and then his next one is going to be build as well. Now, this is a tie. So that's one of the times he plays a coin on there. The value is shown is the same. So he's going to knock me down 1. I'm only going to be able to build 1 this turn. Next turn is mine. I think I've placed in 3 different ones, so I'm going to want to move more. So I'm going to actually put this 2 in this one, and I'm going to get 5 points of movement, which is key, and he can't come in there and snake anything else because it's full. And I've put in 3 different locations, 3 different action types, so I can double dip here now in movement. We'll see where his next movement is, or his next placement, excuse me, and that is going to be taxing with his level 2, which he's got enough coin to actually get past me, so it's going to be 2, 3, 4. He's going to have to put 2 coins to jump me there. And it's going to be tough because I'm not going to be able to jump above him, which means, and I don't have a coin to pay, which means I can't tax anymore. And I'm going to fall behind here with only 1 more turn to go. So let's turn our minds to something else. And he's thinking, do I want to muster or do I want to attack? I think let's attack because we can get up on that warfare track, and that's 3. So we'll put our 4 there, and as long as his 4 doesn't go into an attack, we'll hopefully jump ahead in that warfare track. And his 4 is going to be just that. It's going to be attack. He's got the coins to outduel me there, so he is going to have a better action there. Okay, we've placed all our workers out. So we're going to now move on to our advisors out, so we're going to move on to the action phase of the game. Okay, so my first action is to move, and I'm going to spend 3 points of movement. I am definitely going to want to move south here. So I'm going to move 1, 2, and I'm going to move 3. Those are the 3 I'm going to move. Now I can tax in both of those regions for less, but sadly I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be able to build 2 places because I will be able to make that conversion. I forgot I have these 2 woods, which I'm gonna be able to build now in at least 2 places, which should be here and there. And if I can get markets down in both of them, then I have the next one. I can get those the next deed card, which would be great. Okay, so that was my first action. His first action is to move. He's going to be able to move 1 for free. He has a new priority here now, so for moving, although it's still the same, it's regions he doesn't rule in location order. Okay, so first one is Polsk, and he doesn't rule that one, so he is going to move somebody. This is one he can move from without relenting, without ceding, or he can move here. I'm little iffy on this rules. It says that he always moves Sviatopolk first. We forgot. At the end of that round, he should have put one there, which allows him now to move Sviatopolk into Polsk, which is going to ruin my my desire to have movement points. But I can maybe get one more of those soldiers with 2 points there, and then I have the majority there. But he also has going to be mustering 3 troops, which is going to make it really tough to hold that rule occupancy. So it only costs me 1 point to build. We'll see how it all plays out. But we did his movement, so now it's 2. When there's 2 values of the same, it's your choice. You get to choose the order in which you want to do it. I could tax for 1, or I could move 2. He's going to resolve his left to right, so he's going to muster and then tax. So my question is, do I want to tax before he musters? And I can get that honeycomb. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to take that honeycomb and tax there for 1. So that's my 1 tax action. I'm going to add that to my board. Although taxing up north would have allowed me to get more. So actually, let's go ahead and go. Let's reverse that, and let's do our movement points, because I wanted this first so that I could fill up another row of my boat to get another coin. So I'm going to do this one first, which is going to allow me to move 2 more, and I'm actually going to move 1, 2 to gain control of that one, hoping that he doesn't muster in those areas. But we'll see. So he's going to muster first. He's going to have 3 muster points. Actually, he's going to have, and he's mustering. So let's check his player board for what that means for him. He's taking the muster action, so he's going to gain a coin, along with that 3 points of muster. So he's going to muster in areas that he occupies but doesn't rule. He's got 3 points of muster to do in location order. The first is going to be Polsk, which is this one, which is going to give him 3. Then he's going to go to, doesn't occupy Novgorod, so he's going to bypass that one. Rostov, he doesn't occupy, so he's not going to do that one. Chernakoff, he occupies but doesn't rule it, so he's going to place another one there. So all my build action is I'm going to have to use a conversion to build 1 market. So I went from being able to build 2 to just 1. Next is Kiev. Nope. Smolensk. He occupies but doesn't rule it, so he's going to place this one, which is now actually a tie there. Interesting. And those are his 3 points of mustering. So now we're on to my taxing. I can tax for 1. I wanted to tax this one, but I now don't have enough points to do it because it's even. So I think the place I'm going to tax from is this stone up here, because I have 1 point to do it, and it's going to complete a row for me, so I get another coin at the end of this round. His number 2, he's going to tax as well. So he's going to tax in areas that he rules that he has unfilled boat columns. The only columns he has unfilled are wood, fish, and honey. So we're going to check for those 2. So if we look here, the areas he's going to prioritize are wood, fish, and honey because he doesn't have them full. And he's also going to actually have 3 points of taxing because he has this bonus. So he's going to get 3 goods on his player board in this or in the areas of wood, fish, and honey if he can. My hope is he's going to have to spend 2 points somewhere. He is looking for ruling. Okay, let's see. Order Polsk. He doesn't rule it, so he won't tax there. Novgorod. Where's that one? Doesn't rule up there. Rostov doesn't rule up there. Chernakoff doesn't rule there. Kiev, he does rule there. He doesn't have it full. He's going to take that one. That's his first point of taxing. He's got 2 left. Smolensk. He doesn't rule there. It's a tie. He won't tax first. Volyn, he does rule there. He's going to take the... Oh, but it is full, so he's not going to take that one just yet. And then this one, it is now full, so he won't take from that one at this point in priority. But we've gone through the entire list, so let's check what the next priority is. Next is he doesn't rule, he doesn't rule, and he doesn't have an unfilled boat column. So let's go back to the ones that he doesn't rule. If we look at Polsk, he doesn't own it, but it's full, so he skips it. Novgorod, he doesn't rule, and it's not full, but he has no presence there. So I got to check and see if he's actually going to take from there. I'm going to say he doesn't occupy it, so he can't take it from there. Rostov, again, he doesn't occupy. So now we're on to Chernakoff. He doesn't rule it. It's not full. He will take that one. That is his 3rd point of he took a fish, he took a stone, he took a honey. Okay, so that was the end of his action. Now we're going to go to our 4 and 5s. We're doing similar things here. First, I'm going to attack for 1. Let's see, where is he going to attack? Let's think about this. His priority for attacking. Attacks you first. Spends all attack points in a single region if possible. He's going to attack in places he rules first. And he's going to attack here or Polsk. Where's that at? He's going to attack here first. This is the location he's going to attack first. So I think I'm going to use my attack point to attack the Sviatopolk, which I'm going to remove from it because I don't want him to. Be able to get that other troop out there, which is just going to be a big old pain. So that was our first attack. It was simple. I removed it for the 1 point. I'm going to move up my sword on the warfare track. And now I've got to check for casualties. And I remember I'm going to pull from this deck to check for casualties. And there are no casualties there. So I'm going to discard that one. I get to keep all my troops. Now he's going to attack for 2. He's going to attack for 2. Let's see where he attacks. I said he's going to attack he's in the build, so he's going to attack in places that he rules. And he's going to attack me first if possible. He's going to spend all of his attack points in that region before moving on. So let's see where he rules. Polsk, he doesn't rule that one. Novgorod doesn't rule it. Rostov doesn't rule it. Chernakoff doesn't rule it. Kiev, he rules it. There's no one to kill. Volyn, here is someone to kill. So he's just going to remove him. He's not going to advance in the war track or draw casualties. He just removes the rebel. So that's 1 point. So now he's going to check for another one. That was Volyn. And then this is the last one. He's going to spend another point there. That's 2 points of attack. And he didn't draw anything for casualties. So he's just removing those so he can maybe move these guys and not cede rule to them. But now the rebellion is completely gone. Now we're into the build action. I ruled this one now, so I could build it for 1, which would be nice. But I also want to think about building here so that when I tax, I can get those 2 on my board right away. If I build it there, the market there, I'm not going to get to add anything more to just 1 to my boat, which I do need, but I think I'd rather get the 2. So with this 1 point and spending this conversion 1 wood or stone plus another good, I'm going to get a second build point, which is going to allow me to have 2 build points, which I need to build in a place I don't rule. And I'm going to build my market here in Chernakoff. And I'm spending these 2 wood to be able to have that second build point to be able to do it. So I also forgot, I'm going to just do this deed. I have 3 churches in adjacent regions, which I'm going to get 3 points, or 3 coins, and another victory point. So he's now going to build. He's got 2 points of build strength. And he is going to build first. He has no bonus for building of his actions. He's going to build in places he rules that doesn't have a structure. Okay, so in location order, Polsk, he doesn't rule it. Novgorod, no. Rostov, no. Chernakoff, no. Kiev, yes, no structure. So let's go ahead and check our priority. He's going to build a church in that place. That's 1 point of build. Next after Kiev is Smolensk. He doesn't rule. Volen, he does rule. The next one is a tent, market. Now here's one thing that's unsure. I've already built a church on the priority list. Do I now move down to the market, or do I build the church again? Because he still has another church in his reserve. I'm going to say he's going to build a church because that's the priority order. I don't know if he once building 1 he stops. So we're just going to put that church down there for his second build. So we've completed all of our actions, which means we're now going to go to the claim phase. The first thing we got to do is check that priority. Let's check occupied regions. I occupy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regions. He occupies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's still not going to move into the attacking moving phase. Structures in adjacent regions, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 1, 2, 3. So I still have more there, so that's where he's going to stay. Now we're going to check the claim phase. I know we counted occupancy, but now we need to count for rule. I rule in 1, 2, 3 places. So I'm going to stay right where I'm at. He rules in 1, 2, 3 places. He won't go down, but he won't go up anywhere. Build, I've built on 1, 2, 3, 4 adjacent spots, so I'm going to jump up 1 more. And he's built on 3 adjacent, so he's going to jump up to there. Next, goods on the boat. I've got 5, which is going to allow me to get up to this one. But now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he is staying ahead of me there. That is checking our claims. I am ahead of him in 1, which means he's going to move 1 coin on his player board. So he's going to add this coin over here. And now whenever he has a build point, he's going to have a second build, an additional build point there. Now we're at the earning income. I have all of my coins on the claim track, or my crowns on the claim track, so I'm not going to gain any coins for that. But I have 2 full rows here, so that means I'm going to gain 2 coins during my income phase. The AI is going to gain 1 coin automatically, and then 1 coin for each full row. He's got 3 full rows, so that is going to give him a total of 4 coins during this income phase. Now I've got to choose which of these deed cards I want to take. I don't really want to remove any buildings. Market Day is within grasp, and I'd get a scheme card, which could be very helpful here at the end. Or dispatching messengers. I have to be in 8 regions. I'm in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd have to move down into all 3 of these. It doesn't mean that I own them. It's just that it means I'm in them. So the question is, realistically, am I going to move into all 3 of those? I like both of them. This is where that deed variant is kind of coming in the way here. I guess the question is, do I want a card or do I want mustering? I think this is just more realistic. And I think if I try to move, it's going to take me away from that prosperous, which is another 2 points. So maybe this one bodes well with the prosperous. I'm going to take that one. And the last thing we're going to do here for round 2 is advance our marker. That's the end of the round. Sviatopolk's not on the board. They're not going to gain their extra worker, their extra soldier, but we are each going to gain our last worker or our last advisor into our advisor pool. And we'll get started with round 3. Or we'll get started with round 4. Okay, here we go, starting our final round. We're going to start placing things out. I am still quite far behind on goods. I've got 5, he's got 7. So taxing is going to be a really important thing. So I think I'm going to try to put him a claim 5 and the 6. Make sure that I'm going to be able to do that taxing. And I'm going to hope that he doesn't tax again so I can get into a second one. Let's see where Sviatopolk will place his first advisor. He's going to place his 3. He's in that build priority. He's going to place that 3 on a build. I too need to build. So I am going to place a coin with this 4. No sense in keeping them. I don't think they give me anything on this build action. Because I'm still trying to get this market day. I need to build one more market. And then another good would help me get me into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I'm going to get to 7, but I'll at least get to the 5. So maybe I don't need to build these fortresses, but I at least need to get that market to get one more. This other 2 points I think will be very helpful. Okay, let's see where Sviatopolk's going to place his next advisor. He's going to place his 1 on muster. Now it says to do a coin, but he doesn't need to do one because he doesn't have to outbid anyone. So we're just going to place that 1. Okay. So I feel like I still need to... What's the next thing I want to do? After building and taxing, I know I wanted to do those. I think they need to... I'd like to attack. So let's go ahead and put this attack down with 2 coins. So it's going to be a 3 value. Just, again, coins are going to do me no good a little bit later. Maybe attacking will clear up, give me some more regions to rule, jump up there. There's no reason to hold back now for him getting bonus actions or anything like that. He's going to place his 4 in scheme. Now we each got 3 left. And I've placed in 3, so now I'm definitely going to go back here and tax with the 3. The only thing he's going to beat it is a 5. But you know what? I'm going to put an extra coin here too, just because if he does a 2 with a coin, he's got a 5 and 2 2s, and one of those might be a coin. Though he's got so many coins that it could be a waste. But I don't get anything for the coins at the end of the game anyways. So let's just try to build up that taxing. We need to make sure we get that taxing. Okay, he's going to place his 5 in attack. And I placed a 1, 2, 3. So he's going to get to do 2 attack points to my 1. That's going to leave this open. Oh, I don't have any coins left, though. Oh, I really messed that up. I shouldn't have put that extra coin down on this 1 because I needed it to tax. And you know what? I'm going to say solo rules. I'm taking it back. Knowing I needed to tax as much as I could tax. I'm going to take that final row, but keep this coin that I would have needed to trigger this taxing. Okay? All right, he's got 2 sets of 2s. Let's see what's his next placement. He's going to coin on build. So he's going to pay enough coins to surpass 5. So he needs to put 4 coins on there, which he has. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which then this becomes a 6. And it pushes everybody down. He's going to do some major building today, which is okay. I think I really only need the 1 market there. And I'll jump up to 5 adjacent regions and get my market day. So that's going to be a 4-point move. Okay, my last one here, I've got a 2. I'm debating if mustering is the thing to do. Establish that I'm not moving anywhere. Attacking, I won't have a coin to pay because it would go there. It wouldn't surpass. Can't build or tax, and getting the scheme card at this point I don't think is something I need. So let's just go ahead and take this muster point away from him. So at least 1 muster point away from him, so he won't be getting 3 of them at just 2. All right, and his last 2, he's going to place this one in the taxing. He can't tax, so let's just make sure I know where, which I think is to the column to the right, or it could be the column to the left. Column to the right. So taxing, can't do it. Building, can't do it, so then he's going to place in the scheme. So he's going to remove 2 more coins from his player board. All right, so we've placed a lot of advisors this round. It really amps up the amount of actions you get to do as the rounds go on, adding these 2 advisors. But we're done with that, so let's clear off these coins and start taking our actions. Okay, our first action is to attack. So we're going to remove him. I'm going to really want to make sure I can build. I've only got 1 point of build, and this is the place I want to build so I can get those 3 markets next to each other and get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 regions. So I can jump up there. So I'm going to attack in this one, which is going to move me up here on the warfare track, and I'm going to have to draw a card. I know there's a death waiting here, so I'm going to take my chance with this one, and I'm clean. No casualties for me there. So that's the end of my first turn. Next is going to be his first turn. He's going to muster in 2 different places. So let's check our priority. Mustering, he's going to go and occupy but don't rule in location order. And the first troop he's going to pull out is Sviatopolk. So Novgorod, let's see where that is. He doesn't occupy it, so he's not going to go there just yet. Smolensk, he occupies and doesn't rule, so he is going to pull Sviatopolk to join them there. So now he actually rules that one with 1, 2, 3, 4 to my 1, 2, 3. That was 1 point of mustering. He's got another point of muster. So let's check the next one. Kiev, he rules it, so he doesn't need to go in there. We're looking for occupying but not ruling. And then this one, he owns, he rules it. Chernakoff, occupy, doesn't rule. He's going to place his next troop there. That's his second point. He's going to take rule there. Also, remembering in his player board, he is going to get a coin anytime he musters. So he's going to gain another coin. All right, so that's finished with his mustering. So now we're on to my second action. I can either take this mustering first, or I can take this taxing first. I think there's no hurry on taxing. He's going to attack for 2, but I'm going to be able to muster out all the rest of my troops here. So I am going to go here, take back this one. I'm going to take back this one as well. I'm going to fortify that one because it all hinges on making sure I get that market. And then I'll go here as well, just to make him have to attack there and not somewhere else, perhaps. We'll see. So that's my 3 points of mustering that I did for my second action. Now we look to his second action, and he does his leftmost first. So it's going to be this one, this build. So he's going to have 2 build points. Actually, 3 build points right there. Okay, so the priorities for him building is A, rule and no AI structure. So let's see if there's any place that he rules that doesn't have a structure. Rules has a structure, rules has a structure, rules has a structure. Occupy doesn't rule, occupy doesn't rule, occupy doesn't rule. So there's no place in the A value. So now we're going to go here, don't rule, and no AI structures. So that's going to be one of these 3 places he's going to build in. Okay, so let's go and check. It's got his build priority is first going to be a church, and in which location? We've got Novgorod, which he doesn't occupy at all, so he can't build there. Smolensk, he can build there, but there's already a church there, so he can't build it there. Kiev, nope, we're not looking there. Nope, already got a building there. Chernakoff, so he's going to build a church there, which is actually going to convert one of my troops, take that one off, and put on his. And maybe, yeah, okay, so that's 1 point of build. Oh, actually, I think that's 2 points because he didn't rule it, he just occupied it. Okay, so then the next one, that was Chernakoff, next was Polsk. He's going to build, he doesn't have a church to build, so his next priority would be the fortress. So it means that counts as a +1 to his. And can he actually build there? I have to go back and check and see about him having points to build, because that would have cost him another 2 points, and he had 3. So I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Let's see. Okay, so yep, he doesn't have enough points to build there, so he's not going to build his fortress there. What's going to actually happen is he's going to go back to places that he rules and has AI structures. Because there's nowhere else. Oh, there he does rule here, and there are enemy troops. So actually, he's going to build a fortress here because there isn't one yet for 1 point to just make sure that he keeps that claim of that spot. Okay. Okay, so that was his 3 build actions. He spent 2 to build the church there, and then he built it. What he built? Yes, because it's. He wouldn't have been able to build here because he doesn't. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He doesn't rule it. And the next priority here, rule AI structures. So I think that's where we're going to place him. All right, so now we're on to our second 2s. I'm now going to tax. I'm going to pay this coin. I've got 1 tax point. I need to pull off something that I have space for, and that's going to be this guy. I've got 1 point. I'm going to be able to pull him onto my board. I don't know whether I didn't put a honey there. There should have been one. There was no other taxing that happened there, just as of yet. Okay, his other 2 is a scheme, so he's going to remove the next coin of his priority. So he's going to remove this coin in his row. Whenever he attacks, he's going to be able to move as well. All right. My 3 is a tax. I'm going to have another tax point. Yeah, I must have forgot to replenish goods because there are goods missing from this board and no one has taxed yet. So he needs 1 there. We need 1 up here. That looks good. Okay, so 1 more tax point. I can tax from one of these up here, but neither one of them are going to get on my player board. So it's just going to be a good for sake of getting a good, I guess. Because I'm going to have to use these 2 to get this honeycomb to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that will tie me for first, which is exactly what I need. So this one actually doesn't matter. I think it was just to make sure, placing all 3 here to make sure that he didn't get one. So I think I'm just going to take this stone. I can't take advantage of this market. This market, I'll be able to get 2 of those. Ooh, that'd be great, and be first. Yes, that's perfect. So I'll just take this stone for that tax point and add it to my dock. It's going to do me no good, but again, I wanted to block him out of taxing. His number 3, he's going to spend a coin to build somewhere else. So let's go back to that building priorities. I think he's going to have 2. Since there's only 1 point, it's going to be one that he already is in. He's just going to build a second structure in those. So let's see. Novgorod, Smolensk. He doesn't rule it. He won't have enough points to build there, though. Oh, no, he does have 2 points. So he could build in that one. His priority then is a fortress here. But a fortress already exists. That's why he can't build in Smolensk, because all buildings already exist there. Kiev, he can build there. It's going to be a fortress. So he's going to build his fortress right, excuse me, hitting the camera, right there. That would be 1 build point. Now he can build he has another build point because his bonus says that every time he has a build, he gets an extra point. So he still has 1 more. So after Kiev is this one, and he can build a fortress there because already a market is there. Okay, and I forgot on his scheme, he should have gotten 2 coins. Looking now at his player board, he should have got an extra 2 coins. Okay, so now it's my 4. I'm going to build. I've got 1 point of build. I am going to build this market right here. I'm not going to gain any benefit from there, but I will now be able to say I have 3 different markets in different regions with different goods: fur, wood, honey. So I'm going to get to draw 2 scheme cards and keep 1. Okay, and I get to draw 2 and keep 1. I'll draw these 2. 1, 2. 2 coins or a deed. Can I take a deed right now and actually do something? Let's take a look at what they are. So mass forces, can't do that. I don't have the ability to move them now. Reward the laborers, 2 goods and 2 coins. Don't have 2 coins to dispose of. And victory march. Oh, well, I don't think there's much of a point of me moving any of these, so I don't think that's going to be worth it for me. So I guess I'm just going to take this one, knowing that there's a casualty waiting for Sviatopolk at the top. All right, he's going to scheme again here, and let's see where he's going to remove his next coin from his player board. So his current row is completed, so he goes to the leftmost. He's going to take this one off, and he's schemed, which means he's going to get an extra 2 coins. And that's important because coins are victory points for him. They're not for me, but they are for Sviatopolk. Okay. We unlock this new one. Wherever he moves, he gets a plus move. Now I'm going to remember here, his last action is attack, so he's going to get to move 1 more time after attacking. And he's going to draw 1 less card after attacking. So you might actually take no casualties. Okay, so my last one is taxing. And I got 2 points of tax. I need 2 points because I don't rule this region. So that means I'm going to get this one. And I have a market there. I'm going to take a second one. And let's see how that plays out on my board. So I'm going to place both honeys there. And now I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is going to put me in clear first position. All right, and our last action for Sviatopolk is to attack. He's going to attack for 2. Let's see his priorities for attack. He's in the build mode, so he's going to look to attack in places that he rules first. Okay? And he spent all attack points in a single region if possible. So let's see. Where does he rule that he could attack me? Well, he rules in this place with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to my 3, and in this place with 1, 2, 3, 4 to my 1, 2, 3. Oh, 4. No, so he doesn't rule that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that is an occupy situation. So it would be this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with his 1, 2, 3. So he's going to do all 2 attack points in there. He's going to take out 2 of my guys. Okay, so his first attack point, he's going to attack in this region like we talked about to make sure he maintains rule. I'm going to remove 1 of my soldiers. He's going to move up 1 on the warfare track, and we're going to check for a casualty here. But he draws 1 less card when he attacks, which is the 1 by default. I don't rule the region, so he's not going to get an extra 1. And I don't have a stronghold there, so he's actually not going to take any casualties either time. So he's going to attack again with his other point in there, and he's going to move up the track again there. So we're going to be even on the warfare track there. He also then gets to move because of his attack. So let's see where his priority is moving right now. So he's in the build. So he's going to move to a region he doesn't rule in location order. So the first one he's going to check is Norvgard. He doesn't rule that one, so he's going to move. he's got plenty of soldiers to move. The first one he moves is Sviatopolk if he can, but he can't because that will cede rule to me. So he's going to move from there to there and just take away one spot of rule for me. So those are all our actions. Those are all our actions here. So we're going to jump over to the claim phase now. Not that it matters here again, but we're going to just show the claim phase again, his assigning priority. So let's see, if I occupy more regions than him, he's going to move to the attack move priority. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I occupy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He occupies more. Structures in adjacent regions, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to maintain in that priority. So now let's go ahead and take a look at this claim track. Region Z rules 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Regions I rule 1, 2. Yeah, I really lost rule there. I focused on taxing and building there, so I'm going to lose some points there. Build in adjacent regions, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adjacent regions. So I'm going to go up to that one, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 adjacent regions. And then trade, goods on boats, I've got 7, 8, 1 away from the 9, which would have been nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and I don't think there's another way for me to get. I just couldn't get down here to the south where there was fish. And he's got 7 as well, so that's a wash. So I'm ahead of him on 1, so the top coin of the priority track that he's in is going to go. There's none there, so he's going to go leftmost. He's going to unlock 1 more coin, which will be important for points. Then let's earn some coinage. I am going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 coins for my boats. And he's going to get 1 by default, and he's got 3, so he's going to get 4 as well. I'm supposed to pull a deed card, but, well, I guess I could pull a deed card. I'll take this victory march. And then let me check the rules and see if I can complete this before this round's over. Okay, regardless, I could only complete 1 deed per turn, so I couldn't complete this one anyways this turn. But it makes me wonder why we pull 1 out at the end of the round, because I don't think you can complete a deed. So we're going to move directly into our scoring, so let's just go ahead and see where my scoring is. Okay, so I'm going to get 2 points here. 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. I'm then going to score 2 points here. That makes it 15 for being prosperous because I'm tied for first on the trade. That's 15. Now let's check my deed cards. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That is easily the best score I've put out and easily the most deed cards I've ever completed. So when I say 20, I'm going to have to count it again. 2, 5, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 points. 20 points for me, so let's go ahead and see how much our opponent Sviatopolk scores. He's going to score 5, 8, 11, 14. He gets 3 for that as well, so he's at 14. He's going to score 1 victory point for every 3 coins, so let's go and count that up. So he's at 14, 3 more, 15, 3 more, 16, 3 more, 17, 3 more, 18, 3 more, 19, and goods on the dock, he doesn't have any, so I actually end up winning 20-19. Now there's definitely going to be an asterisk with it because I definitely missed on some claims. Obviously, you can tell from the way I had to go through everything that I wasn't very sure on some of the movements, on some of the builds. Lots of questions there, but overall, a pretty good performance. So what are my thoughts on this one? I absolutely really like it. There's definitely, with liking it, comes testing some of your patience, especially when trying to identify what priorities there are. That's going to be so with a lot of area control games where you have to manage the AI, because the state of the board will change so much. But I absolutely love this fun reveal, and it's super simple, as you saw once we got going on it. That's the least simple thing about it, is holding it. But I absolutely love the way that they change the priorities based on the state of the board. I absolutely love that the actions for me are simple. Like, these are super simple. The only thing that's not simple is determining where to do those actions. I love the economic system of gaining resources. I'm always a huge fan of variable player powers, but in this one I will say that's one of the things I say is a little bit weaker. Comparing it to another game like Circadians, that variable player, choosing that player is going to kind of determine the strategy you go for. And here, Maria, I think I used this maybe once, twice, and I think it was like putting them in there, and yes, I was able to build that market in that spot, but it really seemed to have a minimal impact, that ability. Even Sviatopolk's one guy at the end of each round is really intriguing at first, but then you see it doesn't really have much of an impact on the game. It was really rewarding to get these deed cards. That was a really fun aspect, and I think that's something that as you play and continue to understand how to manipulate the board and take advantage of these actions, because 3 mustering seems like a lot, but sometimes it feels like you haven't really done much, and that's okay, because you still need to do it and you still need to work for it. But it's just, I think it puts you in a nice tight phone booth, a nice tight rope walk you have to do in order to manipulate that board and still do these things and work towards this very first thing. I mean, I was working towards this almost the whole game. I think there was one round where I laxed on it, and that forced me to take 3 actions on that tax. But 2 points here, 2 points is a big deal out of 20. I absolutely really enjoy this. I would say that I'm not very good at area control, so this is a really good game for me to get better with it. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like this a lot. Thanks for watching it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. That's been Rurik, Dawn of Kiev.
Hey, I'm Hans from Han Solo Board Gaming. Now, if you made it this far into the video, then there's a chance that you might entertain the idea of supporting me and keeping the lights on here at Han Solo Board Gaming. Please head on over to my Patreon page and make a donation there, where you can earn things such as shout-outs or voting rights for the upcoming videos. Any help, any gift, any donation, any support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your support in any way that you decide to give it.